Mr. Secretary, thank you for being here and for all you do for the ag business. Georgia, agriculture is very important, obviously. It's over half of our GDP. The ag and timber industry employs over 500,000 people. They're our best conservationists in the state. We're the #1 state for peanuts, broilers, pecans, and blueberries, #2 in cotton. I'm concerned about regulation. Everywhere I go and talk to our farmers, regulation is the #1 topic, and then comes labor. In your role of coordinating the interest of the ag industry, you've done a great job, and I'd like to ask you a question today regarding dicamba, traits like dicamba and 2,4-D that the USDA has approved that would alleviate effects of these weeds and so forth and pests that are damaging. We lost $1 billion over the last decade in our cotton industry alone to pests and weeds. But the EPA has not approved the herbicide that works in conjunction with these approved traits. Clearly, the process can be improved, and my question is, with you being the voice of agriculture, how do we improve the communication and collaboration with other regulatory bodies to ensure that we're getting producers the tools they need as quickly as possible? The farmers want to comply. The problem is right now it's taking so long to get direction out of cross-departmental regulation.
Senator, I agree, and we have been communicating with EPA specifically on that issue, asking them to take quicker action so that producers would have some certainty in terms of what they will have available to them. It's an interesting relationship. Obviously, I frankly don't want the EPA telling me how to run my department, and I suspect the administrator of EPA doesn't want me to tell her how to run her department. What we can do, and what we do, and we do it frequently and often, and forcefully, is to explain what we think the real-life consequences will be of something that they may be considering, or the real-life consequences of inaction or a delay in action. And we have done that on the issues that you've raised.
The timber industry is obviously very important. We actually have the largest privately owned, commercially available timberland in the country, and over 55% of our timberland in Georgia is privately owned. Your department oversees and maintains the world's most comprehensive national database on forests, the Forest Inventory and Analysis Program. Can the FIA program help us with something? Right now, biomass, you've mentioned it in your testimony, is very important to the country. It's important to the forestry industry. And yet, we're having trouble getting to the regulators to tell us what sustainability really means. What is a sustainable practice in the forestry industry? You've been very active in that. Can the FIA help us in that area with the utilization of biomass and make it sustainable and make sure that we're all trying to achieve the same goal?
Well, we've provided comments to our friends at EPA on this issue to explain to them what we think needs to happen and the certainty that needs to happen. In the meantime, we are also focused on trying to find ways in which we can use biomass within USDA programs. We've funded 230 wood energy programs, over $1 billion invested in that initiative. We've worked with Woodworks to try to create new opportunities for building. We have a green building initiative within USDA. We have the Bio-Preferred program in which we're encouraging federal agencies to use wood. And then most recently we have the Tall Wood Building Contest looking at ways in which we can encourage multi-storied buildings and construction from cross-laminated timber. All of that is being done and will continue to be done. I think as we deal with issues involving climate and climate change, as we deal with issues involving reduced emissions, I think we're going to see a greater need and reliance on biomass, and I think that will be a hopeful sign and opportunity for rural areas. And we obviously need to have some degree of certainty about precisely what it does mean to be sustainable, and we've certainly provided what we think is a very common sense, science-based response to EPA and hope that they will listen and hope that they act quickly.
Yeah. Are you hopeful that we can get a resolution on that, though? I mean, we have the data, but there's this open question about what that really means, and it bothers me that the EPA has an open card now to determine that on the fly, if you will.
Well, I always want to remain hopeful, Senator. I don't want to be hopeless. And I think we need to continue to press the case, and we will. I give you that assurance.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.